In today's society, we look down on people who made mistakes and failed many times, judging them, thinking they are inadequate and not someone you want to follow. Well, let me tell you something. I made countless mistakes and failed many times. Mistakes that cost me in the real world, in friendships, in relationships. You name it, I have done it. I'm not perfect, that I can guarantee you. But I truly believe that those setbacks and failures you go through in life will shape you to be the best version you can be and attract the right people in your life. So in this video, I want to share with you the 4 biggest mistakes I made in my 20s so you can use this to be steps ahead in your own journey. Because here's the truth, the most extraordinary journeys are paved with mistakes and setbacks. The first big mistake I made was taking advice from too many people. As a young man growing up, I struggled to understand how the world worked. You see, I did not have a role model that was able to guide me or give me the tools in how to go about tackling life. I was quite lost and did not know how I should be conducting myself with others and the world around me. As a result, I would be listening and taking advice from a lot of people. I was quite an open-minded individual and was very inquisitive about life, so naturally I was attracted to learning and gaining new knowledge. This is where the problem started to arise. The more I listened to what people said, the more I became confused as an individual. Everyone loves to give advice. It makes them feel good about themselves. But very few are able to put themselves in your shoes and give advice that will actually benefit you. This is when I realized that I don't need to take advice from everyone. I only need 1 or 2 people who know me extremely well that will give me advice because they want the best for me, even if it hurts me. The rest I will go out there in the real world and learn for myself. The best wisdom you can get is not from people, but life itself. Trying to play it safe and being a bookworm or listening to a podcast thinking you will get somewhere is not reality, and in fact is hindering your progress. I'm so glad that I stopped listening to people and went out there in the real world to experience what life is really like firsthand. Starting a business from zero, dealing with clients left and right, dealing with institutions, dealing with revenue, expenses, accountants, contracts, hundreds and hundreds of rejections, getting my knees scrapped, falling down many times and having to get back up even though I have nothing left in my tank. Those are the life gems you can never get from books. You have to experience life for yourself so you can build your own thought process and have your own opinions and views. The life experiences that you go through, knowing that you have overcome all those obstacles along the way, will give you true inner confidence, and nothing will come close to that. That I can guarantee you. The second biggest mistake I made was not controlling my emotions. Growing up, I had a lot of rage and anger inside me. I did not know how to channel those emotions and control it. To a lot of people, it was very intimidating. They would say that I'm very intense. I realized this more when I was in relationships. The women would often tell me that I was quite passionate in how I do things, and sometimes they felt the intensity behind it. They also added that I was a serious individual and quite stubborn as well. Come at me, bro. Come at me with the criticism. To an extent, they are right. It's not that I'm doing it on purpose because I want to. It's because I did not solve my own personal issues first. That's on me, and I take full responsibility for that. I dislike to put the blame on others or circumstances because I don't like to play the victim mode. It makes me weak. At the end of the day, my life is dictated by the choices I make. But if I was to look at why this was the case, it's really down to not having a father figure from a young age. I might rustle some feathers here, but I will say the truth from my experience. Good fathers provide leadership and stability in the household. Their values and principles is what the rest of the family will follow, and he will be the leader of the pack. If the man in the family does not conduct like a true father to his children and a husband to his wife, the whole family crumbles. It's a fact. My mom did everything she can, but she was very emotional. She was not able to give what a father would provide, which is his authority, sheer presence, wisdom and guidance on how to solve and navigate life's challenges and problems. At the moment I feel the emotions coming up, I would just take a step back and not say anything. I would just breathe. I breathe in the emotions and the intensity, and I let it evaporate as I breathe out. I do this constantly until I feel the intensity of the emotions reduces. The best thing to do when you are emotional is not to act straight away and do something that you will regret. Don't act on the emotion. It's not easy, but with any new habits that you want to form, the beginning stages are always going to be difficult. It takes time and consistent practice to make it part of your routine. The third big mistake I made was comparing myself to others. I used to compare myself a lot with people who were doing better than me, even in school and university. It brought me down a lot because I thought I was inadequate. I was not good enough. It made me feel like I was a failure. I used to come up with excuses in my head and say things like, oh, she's just smarter, or he has a family helping him with money. They got lucky. That's why they are where they are. Finding any excuses to make myself feel better and hide my insecurities. As humans, we compare ourselves to others so we know where we stand in the social hierarchy. It's something that is in us. Comparison, if used in the right way to push yourself and improve, is great. But the problem is the comparison itself is unjust. Let me explain. The subject of comparison should not be others, but with yourself in the past. To compare yourself to someone who has a complete different life to you, different environment, different family members, different upbringing is unfair to say the least. Everyone has different parameters and is given different circumstances in their journey of life. It's like comparing apples and oranges. You are always going to fall short because you are going to look at what someone has that you don't have. And even if you do achieve it, you will now start looking at what the next person has that you don't have. It's a never-ending cycle. You will never win. This is what I learned the hard way, and I realized that I would always end up losing. Instead, I learned to compare myself with who I was in the past and how far I've come and how much more I still can do. That's it. As long as I outwork, out-improve and outlast myself, then I'm on the right path. The fourth biggest mistake I made was having expectations of people. When I left the corporate world to start up an education business, in my mind I thought my family and friends would have supported me in this decision, that I would have their backing. How wrong I was. They did not like it one bit. But the reason this hurt me more was the fact that I had an expectation that they would be supportive, and that expectation was not met. I thought family and friends would have your back no matter what, but that was not the case. This eventually led me to leaving home and not speaking with my family for over 2 years and cutting most of my friends out. I had to do this in order for me to progress and grow as an individual. You see, if I did not set any expectations from the beginning, which is not easy to do, especially if it's family and friends, but if I did, the hurt would be significantly less. Now as I go about my life, I set my mind to think reversely, which is to not have any expectations of people. I even play out the worst case scenario so I know I'm prepared and ready to make the next move. You're going to come across many people in your life that's going to say all the things that you like to hear, but when you look at their actions, it does not match their words. Always look at a person's actions more than what they say, because words are like the wind, they come and go. People will say all kinds of things in the moment, but few are able to follow through and reflect it consistently in their actions. By you removing your expectations of people, regardless of what they say, you will not be fazed or hurt when they disappoint you, because you are already 5 moves ahead on the chessboard game. Check, mate. Everything starts from zero. When are you going to start? Peace.